In a BNC exclusive, we're unveiling the results of a first-of-its-kind survey of young adults who look like you and me. What these 18 to 36-year-olds are saying about the economy, public policy, and COVID may really surprise you. Brittany Jones spoke with a professor who led the study, Dr. Cathy Cohen.
We want to say that young people and young adults in particular are kind of critical members of our political community, that these issues and these policies impact them and their families and communities. And if we aren't uplifting their voices, then we're making policy decisions that are only partially informed by something we call the public. So one of the questions we always ask is, what's the most important issue facing the country? And again, because we ask significant numbers of African-American, Latinx, API, and white young people, we're able to what we call disaggregate. We're able to look at them by racial and ethnic group. When we ask this question about what's the most important issue, in the past, generally for African-American young people, what we have found is repeatedly the most popular answer, and I don't mean popular, but I mean the answer most often given, is racism, right? With the kind of emergence of COVID-19, what we have seen is that increasingly COVID has become the most important issue, right? And some people would say, well, wait a minute, I thought it would be economic issues. What about poverty? What about unemployment? And I always try to remind them that if you think about COVID-19, in particular in communities of color, absolutely, it's an issue of public health and disease. We know that we are disproportionately higher to die from COVID-19, but it's also an economic issue, in particular for young people, right, who may be in the gig or service economy, whose jobs may have been lost, right, who are trying to figure out how to deal with unemployment and possibly eviction. So when we ask a series of other questions about how can we make your city safer, and one we call a forced choice question. You got two options. You can either say, increase the number of police, invest in more police, or invest in social services. What we see is majorities of young people across race and ethnicity say, invest in social services. They don't choose more police. We ask young people, is the killing of Black people a serious or very serious problem? What we've seen is growth over time, right? That, for example, majorities of young whites didn't believe that the killing of Black people by the police was a serious or very serious issue maybe 2 years ago. But by last summer, a majority did say, yes, we agree that it's a serious or very serious issue. When you see a video with the killing of George Floyd, it's hard to say that the killing of Black people by the police is not a very serious issue. So we're seeing changes there. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about these generations?
Well, I suspect that your viewers and I probably share a generation. And, I think it's easy if we're watching the news to think that this is a generation that is involved in crime, that doesn't care about life, that, maybe doesn't work hard. And I would push back on all of that. I would say that these are young people who have had, in some ways, greater opportunities than many of us have, but also have been faced by a changing economy, right? They faced the 2008 recession. They're facing the COVID recession now. They're facing, a shift in the types of jobs that are available, the kind of jobs that we grew up with or that people could have if they didn't have a college degree and would put you in the middle class. Those jobs really aren't available anymore. I would also say that the other thing we think about is that they seem not to care, but I would remind us all that these were the generations that moved into the street last year to say that, in fact, the killing of Black people by the police will not be accepted, right? That in a way that we saw this with the civil rights movement, we are now seeing it again with this generation.
Wow, great and insightful interview. And I agree with that. Of course, we feel like one of the most important issues facing our country right now is COVID, because it's really impacting every area of our lives, our children. I'm living it right now with my daughter in and out of school. The virtual learning, we have to become teachers when that's really not what we are by trade. Our jobs, how we do our jobs, COVID affected that. Issues of addiction. Most families have some some connection to either having a friend or a family member, if it's not their personal struggle with addiction and how COVID has affected that. And also something I really keyed into what she said has to deal with, how to deal with the issues. Is it amplifying our police force or investing in social services? And I think that we all believe, millennials tend to believe that there is a lot of value in treating the problem before it becomes an issue. And we find that in social services. And also the issues of police brutality, another thing I can also really relate to. I think that with social media and our smartphones, we're actually seeing firsthand, we can't deny it, the impact of police brutality on Black and brown communities. So I think that she really hit everything on the head that millennials deem as important.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like certain things like racism and COVID, I mean, that's something that all of our generations have in common. You got, my generation, Generation X, millennials, you got Generation Z now that still deal with, when it comes to COVID, we're all affected by that. Across the country and around the world. And when it comes to the Black and brown community, obviously COVID is something that affects us a little bit harder because we're disproportionately more affected by when it comes to our health. And it also affects our mental health, which we also have issues with, and it's something that Lauren and I talk about numerous times on this show and around the country when we use our platform, is to speak out on that mental health and how COVID has affected us over the years. But I want to say I do admire, and I know a lot of people look down at younger generations, just like I'm pretty sure my mom's generation looked down at us and like, these kids don't know what they're doing or whatever, and these kids are going to destroy the country. I admire the younger generations. I really, really do. And I know, like they say, like the young lady was saying in the piece, was like, some people say they might be a little lazy. Well, I don't think that at all. I think they're super passionate about what they are, who they are, and what they want, and what they're not going to stand for anymore. So when it comes to like you said, the social movement, they led the way. The millennials were the ones who led the way. We're talking about being woke. They were super woke, and they're not standing for the racism that our parents, my parents, and I had to put up with certain times over my life. Not necessarily had to put up with, but went through over a period of my life. And they're saying it's going to stop right now for them and for future generations. So for that, I have got to give them a lot of credit, and hopefully the Generation Z that's coming behind them will continue to take that baton and continue to run with it until we can completely get rid of racism and all the other issues that affect us in our communities.
Yeah, and to speak to that, I mean, it's the first generation that is living their life strictly removed from Jim Crow era laws. So the idea to them that someone would be judged solely on the color of their skin is so far removed from their reality. And so I think that that's why we're seeing this new wave of activists. And then I think about my daughter's generation, what they'll be like. I think we're going to see exciting things. Finally, it's about time. But I believe that we're going to see exciting things from this next generation as well.
I hope you're right, Naja. I got to push back just a little bit when it comes to Jim Crow laws. It's not called Jim Crow anymore. It's a new version of Jim Crow. When you talk about voter suppression that we have in all these other states, in Texas and Florida, whatever. So it's a different version of what our ancestors and what we had to go through, my generation had to go through. It's just a different version that they're not putting up with, but it still exists. It's still out there, and we have to make sure that we call it what it is in order to eradicate it, in order to get rid of it. So yeah, it's out there, and people still look at us from the color of our skin. Anybody that says, hey, we're colorblind or whatever, we don't see, please, you see color. We know it. We need you to see color. We need people to see us, and we need people to understand us and respect us and treat us as equals. We don't want anything better than anybody else. We want to be treated equally. So once again, like you said, for your kids, your 6-year-old, for your baby that just came into this world a couple of weeks ago, pretty much, we hope that generation, they don't have to go through what we've gone through. But right now, we're going through it, and we have to continue to make sure that we're doing the things necessary to make sure that we can get rid of it for the future generations.
Yeah, and what I
line.
love is
All right.
that I agree with you 100% on the voter suppression issues and it just being sort of a new form of Jim Crow. But what's different now is we have a platform, and we have a platform like BNC where we can call it what it is. And so hopefully that is a game changer as we move forward.
Yeah, we're going to continue to call it what it is as well. Appreciate that. If you'd like to know more about the Gen 4 survey from the University of Chicago, just go to gen4survey.com.